Welcome to Sports Ramble. My name is Joe Silik. I'm joined by Big D Dennis Pond, the beer chugging champion, and our host, Corban Rush. And before we get going, before we dive in, fuck you, Corban. Tua is a piece of shit. All right. He chokes in the fourth quarter, throwing interceptions. He's awful. He's horrible. I don't know anyone that ever defended the guy. He's horrible. All right.
Who would do that? No one in their right mind would.
No one in their right mind.
Man, you know what's crazy? What's like really insane? It's almost like someone for the past 3 weeks has said that Tua was limited, or Tua's really not the franchise guy, or maybe Derek Carr was better than Tua. If only there was someone that could speak some common sense in this world about Tua Tagovailoa. But it just really blows my mind that no one on this podcast. Oh wait, hold on. Was that me? Is that me that's been saying this for the past 3 weeks? And Joe has defended Tua with his life? That's what I thought. I just had to get that out there. I'm going to let y'all do your thing, let you speak your thoughts about Tua, the truth about Tua. And I'm going to take a back seat because I've been correct for the past 3 weeks. But y'all go ahead. Go ahead.
So, in the interest of, how do I phrase this? Preserving my integrity. I think that's a good way of putting it. To be fair, we have not seen a fourth quarter meltdown like that from a quarterback in a long time.
Yeah.
Elite quarterbacking comes in the fourth quarter, like 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins, right? Tua showed, 3 picks in the fourth quarter?
Just in the fourth quarter. Yep.
And each time he had a chance to take the lead. And I'm off the Tua train. You were right,
yeah.
Corban.
Yeah, I'm way off before I dive into that, I just want to say you can tell they made this schedule way before we realized what teams are going to be good and what teams are going to be crap. Because the only game good on Christmas Day was the Packers-Dolphins game, and that ended up being a meltdown.
and was that really that good of a game?
Honestly, it was a game worth watching to the end.
Worth watching, but okay, the NFL this year has not produced these great show-stopping games.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can tell the schedule was made way before anyone knew what was going on, because the Dolphins game was okay to watch, but it was at the 1 p.m. slot, or whatever you want to call it. The Broncos-Rams game, two of the worst teams in the NFL this year. Not the worst, but of the worst.
To be fair, they were supposed to be two of the best.
Exactly. And then the Bucs-Cardinals game, also horrible game. But let me get to Tua, right? I was able to, I was not in Texas for Christmas, so I was able to do some sports betting, right? I got screwed over by Tua. And this is what really sparked my hate this weekend, because I had my money on him, right? I was a ride or die kind of guy with him.
You put your money where your mouth has been.
I did put I backed, at least I'm not a fraud, right? So, but yeah, Tua, I'm disappointed. I'm done. I'm off and he played a decent game until the fourth quarter when it actually mattered. He's not a clutch quarterback. He's not an elite player in the NFL. I'll say it. Corban, I'm not going to say I'm not still sold on Derek Carr, but the Tua hate was justified from you, Corban.
Thank you. Sidebar, I will also say after the Broncos game, or not the Broncos, the Bills game, I think I mentioned that when he had the chance to drive down the field in the fourth quarter, he did nothing but go 3 and out and almost threw a pick. His arm strength wasn't great. His accuracy didn't look great. And you guys were like, "Oh, it was cold. It's Miami. He's not used to the cold weather. There's snow coming down."
I don't think this happened.
Pull up the tape. But anyways,
run the tape.
And y'all are like, "It's cold. That was just a one-off thing. It's in Buffalo. It's not the same." Here we are, Monday evening. Tua's Tua. Tua is gonna Tua.
All right. Well, do you feel good, Corban? Do you feel good?
I'm not praying on anybody's downfall. I want Tua. I want everybody in the NFL to be successful, because you're putting your life, your future health for sure but you put your health on the line. I mean, you go out there and like you put your body on the line every time you play. So any of those guys that are out there, I want them to succeed because they're doing like they're putting their body in harm's way for our entertainment. But at the end of the day, like Tua has not been what he's being paid to be. If this guy's getting paid, I mean, granted, he's still on his rookie contract, so it's not like he's getting paid some absurd amount of money. But he was also he was a 5th pick overall, and he's still signed to a multi-million-dollar deal. Like, if you're going to pay a guy like that to
He's still
make
making
that
money.
kind of money, yeah, if you're going to pay a guy that much money to go out there and throw the pigskin around, you got to be better than what he is. And I think we saw why the Dolphins tried to move off from him twice last offseason. And I'm telling you, it's all falling into place. If my Derek Carr prediction comes true, I'm going to hold that over y'all's heads for the rest of my life for all the hate that I received the first time I mentioned Derek Carr over Tua. Joe, I'm looking at you specifically. But I think this what the Dolphins are knocked out of the playoffs, right? Too? Like, are they've lost their chance for a playoff spot at this point with that loss to the Packers?
Because you still have to have all this other stuff fall into place in the NFC East for the NFC to be over. Or I'm talking about, excuse me, sorry. No. You have to have all these other things fall into place for the AFC.
The Browns and the Steelers are 6-8 right now. They could both still make the playoff.
Yeah. But I think it's was it the Jets? One team lost in the AFC that did. I think it was the Jets. It was the Jets because they lost to. Who the Jets lose to? Because Zach Wilson got benched in the third quarter. It was the Thursday night game, right? But anyways, yeah. So I got the Jets and Dolphins confused. But I'm just saying, Tua's not a guy. I don't think he's your franchise guy. I think what we're going to see this offseason is the Dolphins yet again trying to move off of Tua. I think Mike McDaniels is the right guy they have in head coach. The Dolphins have been very impressive against bad teams. And very disappointing against.
Okay, but we know
teams.
Mike McDaniels has a hard on for Tua. Like, we know they're buddy. Do you think he's going to be able to move on from Tua in a easy fashion? Because he's stood up for him when no one else will. It'd be really hard for him to be like, nah, get this guy out of here.
Well, I think the problem we run into with that is we only see what Mike McDaniels is going to tell the media. We don't see what goes on in the locker room. We don't hear like how Mike McDaniels is talking to Tua. We hear what he says on the sideline.
There's not much going on upstairs there. I don't think there's much he's hiding.
I just don't Joe. I just don't. I don't know. I don't think Mike McDaniels is completely sold on Tua either, but I think he knows that upper management drafted this guy. They want to keep this guy as their quarterback. They basically fired Brian Flores because he didn't like Tua. I mean, that was one of the main reasons I think they fired Brian Flores, because he wasn't going to give Tua the avenues to succeed. And so they brought in Mike McDaniels, and they wanted Tua to succeed. And he does against bad teams. Tua looks great against bad teams. But when it comes time to play anybody that's even average, it's pathetic.
Yeah, he's going to be a good 9-8, 8-9 quarterback.
I don't know if I would say all that about Brian Flores, because we saw this last offseason he wasn't all that in a bag of chips.
Well, the problem with Brian, there's a lot of stuff that happened with Brian Flores. First, the lawsuit or the allegations he was thrown out against the Dolphins. That's a big red flag for any organization. No one's going to hire you as a head coach for that. But I don't think it's because of lack of coaching ability. It's the reason he got fired at Miami. None of that happened until.
You're talking about personality wise, it's not like he's like Jesus or anything.
No, I just think Brian Flores is extremely talented coach, and he should have another head coaching job in the NFL. But I'm just saying that he turned the Dolphins organization around from a poverty franchise to at least respectable. And then Mike McDaniels was able to come in and kind of take over and give the offense the boost it needed. They also got Tyreek Hill. They also drafted Jalen Waddle. You got to think, Tua has two of the fastest receivers and maybe the most dynamic 1-2 punch in the NFL. And yet he goes out and he throws 3 picks in the fourth quarter. And half the time you're just.
And not just in the fourth quarter where they're down by 4 scores and they're just trying to throw to get it back. No, they had a chance to win every single one of those drives.
Yeah. I'm just really interested. I wish we had a fly on the wall in that Miami Dolphin locker room. I just want to know what they say about Tua behind.
Well, let's go to the other side of the football, right? Let's talk about the Packers for just a quick second. I don't think they won that game. The Dolphins just lost that game.
Tua lost that game.
And by extension, the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Because the Packers, they're squeaking out some. I mean, their December win history in the last few years has been ridiculous. I think they're 14-0 in the last few years in December games. But Aaron Rodgers, I think he's out the door. I think he doesn't look like old Aaron Rodgers. And we can get on Aaron Rodgers' hot takes when they make the playoffs and then inevitably lose in the playoffs. So Dennis can
I can't wait until we're gonna save the
Aaron Rodgers conversation for then. But I don't. You can't give the Packers credit for this win, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
But that's not ridiculous.
And all this talk about quarterbacks and head coaches, do you guys want to move on to the Broncos-Rams game?
I'm ready to talk about Nathaniel Hackett.
Yes. Do it.
Wilson.
There's so much to talk about in this game. Go ahead.
First, I think we need to talk about what happened on the defensive side of the ball with Denver. Because let's be real.
Let's talk about that. The defense didn't even have an opportunity when you turn the ball over 3 times inside your own 30. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah. And one of them was a pick six. So, or 2 of them were pick six.
At the end of the game, it was a pick six.
One pick six.
One was pick six.
I mean, I understand that, but still, like, it doesn't look good in any way, shape, or form that you give up 51 to Baker.
I'm just saying,
Mayfield.
don't put that on that defense because.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
that Denver defense is still one of the better defensive units in the NFL.
They just have no
that's
hope
what
on
I'm saying.
offense.
That's what
the score does not reflect. I mean, if you look, like the Rams had like 150 yards of offense at halftime, and they were up at 24 to 27, like with 150 yards of offense.
But Baker also only 24 of 28 with 230 yards and a touchdown. So
that's
it's not
all
like
he needed to
Baker.
do.
Yeah, but I just want to get back to the.
He showed he can manage a game.
Yeah.
He can play and not lose you a game. That's what he showed.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just veer back on track for a second. I just want to talk Denver's defense. This is why Nathaniel Hackett is gone today, though, because Denver's defense has been touted as this amazing defense, which they are, and you give up 51 points. And again, it's not all on the defense. But
that's not why he's gone.
Not why he's gone. No, but
it's because they're 4-11.
He's gone because they could not do anything on the offense side of the ball, and he could not get control of the locker room. So when the defense gives up 51, but 3 of those possessions, like you said, were inside the 30, their own 30, so they're getting the ball in positive field position for the Rams are getting it in positive field position. That's why Hackett got fired, because he couldn't get his locker room under control. He put his defense in terrible spots, one of the best defenses in the NFL. He couldn't even give them a break, couldn't give them any sort of field position advantage. That's why he's gone. Nathaniel Hackett,
he has an MVP caliber quarterback that's not performing for him.
Exactly. He got fired because they paid Russell Wilson $80 billion, and he has 11 touchdowns this year.
I'm just saying, Nathaniel Hackett, I was wrong. I'm trying to get to the point that I was wrong about Nathaniel Hackett. I thought he could pull it together. I thought he was a decent coach. I thought Russell Wilson was the problem. Honestly, I thought the locker room hated Russell Wilson. And I watched Ripon or whatever, the backup's quarterback. We all seen that viral video of him going over the deep offensive line, trying to say something, them shoving him out of the way. Wilson comes over 5 minutes later, and it's like the offensive line is patting him on the back. They're like, I'm sorry. We haven't – because they're giving him no time either. So I don't know if Nathaniel Hackett doesn't even know how to draw up an offensive blocking scheme. He doesn't have his big guys ready. It's just he was a mess. And I was wrong, and I'm going to say that because I was on Nathaniel Hackett's side. I was wrong. You guys were right. I don't think it's completely on Russ.
I'm not saying you can probably go back
because you don't know that yet.
4 different occasions where I said it was Nathaniel Hackett, not Russell Wilson.
But we don't know yet. We still have another. We have to wait till next season to see if Russell Wilson is.
I will eat that bowl of nails when that comes to fruition. When they get another coach in there and Russell Wilson's still shit in the bed, I will eat that bowl of nails
because he looked like an absolute hack last night or yesterday afternoon.
And that's why I'm eating it now. I said Nathaniel Hackett was good and Russell Wilson was 100% to blame. he can't scheme. He can't do anything for Russ. He can't do anything for that offensive line. He can't even help his fantastic defense out. The guy is a terrible head coach. Stick to coordinating. He's a great offensive coordinator, although he doesn't even look like it now because he called the plays and drew up the schemes. I mean, is the guy even really that good, or is Aaron Rodgers just that that good in the regular season?
And like, was Green Bay's offense really that good? Like, they weren't showstoppers. They won games.
Yeah.
Well, last year they were pretty good. I think they were 13-4.
Yeah, but they weren't showstoppers. I'm saying like it's not like they were blowing teams out. Like,
yeah.
No, they just won a lot of games.
Yeah.
It comes down to management.
But they also only put up 6 points in the playoff game against 3 points against the playoff game against San Francisco at home last year. So
wait for the Packers to make the playoffs.
But not to get off on the Packers. That's my piece. I'm ready to give Russell Wilson another year. I'm not ready. I take back what I said. I'm not ready to condemn Russell Wilson. I don't think he's as bad of a locker room guy as I thought he was. I don't think it's 100% his fault. I do think Nathaniel Hackett has no idea how to coach. I think he was the main problem. So I was wrong there. I'll eat that. I'll let you guys go ahead with the Denver game too, because we also need to hit on Baker Mayfield. But I figure we talk about Denver first.
Yeah.
But whatever y'all want to say about Denver, go ahead. But I was wrong, and I apologize to both. There's a lot of eating crow today on this pod. Because
on both sides.
On both sides. You know,
we're all wrong, and we can admit we're all wrong. That's the good thing, right? But
that's right.
I still am not sold on Russell Wilson. I think we need more time. I'm taking a step back, like Corban is saying. Maybe Nathaniel Hackett was the problem, but I'm still not 100% sold on Russell Wilson. He needs to prove himself, just like he had to prove himself years ago in Seattle. He's got to prove himself again and show that he is an MVP caliber quarterback and a Super Bowl quarterback again. I think he's starting from the bottom again. He's starting from the bottom with a big paycheck already. It's what it seems like with him. He might have the locker room. We don't know. We're not in the locker room. He might have the locker on his back 100%. We don't know. It's hard to believe that he does, just because he acts like such an idiot and such a fool. He looks like he's in a movie. He thinks he's in a movie right now. And I can't get on board with him until he's genuine, or at least appears like he's being genuine. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I have to say about that. We'll see what they do in the offseason with the head coach position. Obviously, he's going to be the quarterback. They gave him enough money they gave him more money than God has, to be a quarterback.
Here's what I said to Corban a little while ago concerning Russell Wilson in Seattle and all that. Everybody always praises Pete Carroll as being this, like, run the ball, play great defense. Like, that's his coaching style, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What if he actually knows how to get the best out of his quarterbacks and knows their abilities, knows how to, like, use those abilities to their full extent, way more than anyone is giving him credit for?
But what about Russell Wilson begging for protection in Seattle when he was never getting it?
He still had MVP caliber seasons.
Oh, of course. I'm not disagreeing with that. But
I'm not saying Pete Carroll's the best offensive line building head coach that there's ever been. No. Yeah. I'm saying he knows how to look at a quarterback. Look at Russell Wilson now, right? Who is this guy? He's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. That's who. I'll take Zach Wilson over Russell Wilson this year.
No.
This year?
Zach over Russ.
No.
This year.
No. Zach Wilson.
And Zach is terrible. He's awful.
Yeah, Russell Wilson's not that bad. He has had at least moments where he looks competent still. Like against
one
the
game where he looked good, and then he went out.
Zach Wilson has not had one game. Zach Wilson has not had one good game.
Yes, he has.
When?
Beginning of the season, the Jets were actually hot.
But game, because they had Breece Hall. They weren't even letting Zach Wilson touch the ball. They just handed it off. They're like, Zach, look pretty and hand the ball off to Breece Hall, and that's all you need to do. That's
but if he wins games,
don't do anything else.
That's a pretty boy.
And the moms love him. That's all. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, he's doing something right.
But no, what I'm saying is to get back on the Broncos.
Let me get back to my Pete Carroll.
But yeah, can I say something real quick?
Wrap it up real quick.
Yeah. All right, yeah, wrap it up, and then I'll say one thing, and then we'll go to the Baker Mayfield and Rams.
So Pete Carroll had Russell Wilson looking like an MVP for what? At least half of 7 seasons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he leaves, looks like dog shit in Denver. And then all of a sudden you got Geno Smith, who's been like this journeyman quarterbacks, second string, hasn't really been performing. Looks like a competent starter. He's my pick for comeback player of the year. He's a Pro Bowler, deservedly so. Like, what if Pete Carroll really is better at coaching quarterbacks than anybody gives him credit for?
And it's hard to
I think it's
believe with
possible.
him being like, because he's up there in age. What is he, almost 70?
Pete Carroll's almost 80.
Yeah, he's an ancient dude,
He's
and
an
he's
old guy.
rebuilding a whole team right now. And more props to him. That's all I can say.
He can sell to young guys. I think that's Pete Carroll's biggest thing. He gets a bunch of rookies or younger guys in there, and they
He's
buy
got the Riz.
He's up there for head coaches in the league right now.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, we were all ready to back out on Pete Carroll. And
I'm a Seattle fan. I was calling for Pete Carroll to get fired.
We all were this offseason when they got rid of Russ.
And Bobby Wagner. I was like, all right.
And now you're eating your bowl of nails.
Yeah. It's been a rough year on football takes. That is for sure. But my one thing, what I'm seeing right now happen with Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson is kind of the same issue we saw last year with Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence didn't look like the generational number one overall talent that we haven't seen since Andrew Luck. But then he gets with a guy like Doug Peterson, and now he's been the best quarterback in football for the last 6 weeks. The guy's
Urban
playing
Meyer
out of
had
his
more
mind.
problems off the
field.
field.
And that's Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson's not even anything right now.
Yeah, but so I'm thinking we get Nathaniel Hackett might just be as bad of a coach. Obviously not as bad as headline craziness that Urban Meyer was, but Nathaniel Hackett might just be as bad as a head coach as Urban Meyer.
And some guys just can't coach in the NFL.
Wilson. Yeah, some guys. So the
Nick
jury is
Saban
still out on
coach in
Russ.
the NFL.
Right. The jury's still out on Russ. I'm not sold on Russ, and I'm also not ready to call Russ a hack. It's kind of the same thing with T-Law last year. I was like, I got to see T-Law away from Urban Meyer and see what he can do. And Trevor Lawrence this year, he's proven himself. He's been one of the best quarterbacks. He's proven that he should have been the number one overall pick. They might win their division because the Titans are falling apart. Ryan Tannehill's out for this season.
Hey,
I'm not trying to get on this tangent.
The Colts might win that division.
I think
are they losing right now? Yeah, they're getting beat right now.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Anywho,
I think the Jags are going to win that division, but it sucks. It sucks. But again, I think this last year was a trial year for T-Law, and now he's proving himself. I think we take this year for what it is. Nathaniel Hackett's not a good head coach. He got fired. We give Russell Wilson a trial in Denver. This is his first year as a trial in Denver. Get a half decent head coach next year, and let's see what he can do. Although I think Denver should go all out on the coach as well, but get a half decent head coach, and then let's see what Russ can do next year. Let's not see
Jeff Saturday over in Denver.
Jeff Saturday might find a home in Indy as an offensive line coach, but I doubt he's the head coaching.
I was going to say as a head coach, I don't know, bud.
Something I've wanted to talk about since I watched this happen yesterday is this Baker Mayfield story, right? And I know we all have some opinions on Baker Mayfield, but I think he had to go to LA a few weeks ago, right? To close out this season and prove himself as a quarterback in the NFL. He needed to perform to a caliber that he could have a job next season. He's fighting for his life out there. And I think he didn't wow anyone in yesterday's game, but he didn't need to. And he performed well. He won his first game on a Thursday night after being in LA for 48 hours. Impressive. What did they do last week? He didn't play horribly. Right?
He didn't play great.
Yeah. But anywho, then in primetime game, everyone's watching this game. Christmas Day comes out, plays a pretty damn good game. You can't say that he didn't do anything special because he did go 24-28 and he did throw a touchdown pass, no interceptions. And that's Baker Mayfield. That's all he needed to do. And I think this 3-week stretch we've seen of him, and we're going to see it going forward in the rest of the season, is going to cement him as maybe even a starting quarterback somewhere, or at least going to land him a job in the 2023 season and maybe a multi-year contract somewhere. And that's all he needed.
Who was the quarterback for the Vikings when they had the Minneapolis Miracle? It wasn't Kirk Cousins. It was the guy before Kirk Cousins. That's my comparison for Baker Mayfield right now. I think
as soon as you said who was the quarterback then, I was like, that's the perfect fucking comparison.
That's a good one.
So That's what I see. I see Baker Mayfield is going to be kind of like a transition guy or like a Teddy Bridgewater type deal. You know what I mean? Like he's going to come in, he may start for a year while a team is looking for their franchise quarterback. I don't think he's going to become like I think his career has more at this point in his career, maybe a Case Keenum at a high end with a few starting years, as a starting quarterback. I think low end is like a Colt McCoy. So I mean, it's still not a terrible career.
I'll buy that.
But I just don't think he'll make his money. He's going to have a career in the NFL, which is more than like 99% of guys can say. Most of like 80% of NFL players or more are out within 2.5 years of the NFL. He's been in longer than that. He's going to be in longer than that. So I think high end for Baker Mayfield right now is Case Keenum, or Teddy Bridgewater, like a transition guy, starts a couple years for a franchise to get the pieces and then go get their quarterback, or low end become a really good backup quarterback for a team and have a very long career as a backup, like Colt McCoy has had.
Like he's still going to make millions of dollars, but he's not going to be doing commercials for Progressive anymore. Let's just put it that way. And that's what I'm saying is that he came in and did what he needed to do. That's what the Rams hired him to do. Win a game here, win a game there, and just kind of manage the game for them. And that's what he's done.
Yeah. They're not making a
No, they're not. They know that. And he knows that. He just needs to go there and prove. Yeah. He's there for himself right now. He doesn't give a shit about LA. Let's be real. He's there for his own career.
Yeah. And he's getting it done. I think, like I said, he's going to get, I think, an opportunity just like Case Keenum is. And I'm glad. I mean, prove me wrong, man. Everybody, I want people to prove me wrong. I was way out on Baker Mayfield. I think I said Tua was better than Baker last week. And I think I need to switch on that. I mean, with how much I've been disappointed with both of them, Baker has at least stepped up. Granted, LA has nothing to lose. They're not playing for a playoff spot. They're not playing. All they're doing is playing for pride. And Baker Mayfield plays his best when he's got a chip on his shoulder. So there's a lot of things going for Baker that's not going for Tua, but he does not have. I mean, Cooper Kupp, isn't he still injured? He hasn't been out there, I don't think. Yeah. He doesn't have Jalen Waddle. He definitely doesn't have Tyreek Hill. So he doesn't even have Raheem Mostert. At least like Tua has.
He's got
Raheem
Tyler
Mostert.
Higbee, baby. That's all he needs.
Tyler Higbee, what a game from Tyler Higbee.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just so like
all he needs.
It's
baby.
just I don't think that Baker is like as bad as I thought he was. And so, and like I said, he's proved me wrong where Tua has proved me right even further, I think, than how bad I was hating on him. Man, I don't know. I was hating on him pretty hard. I think Baker Mayfield has definitely proved me wrong as to how bad I thought he was. He's better than Tua, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Also, just to touch on this just real quick, Baker came from the Carolina Panthers. Is Sam Darnold a guy now? As they mollywop one of the hottest teams in the NFC, 37 points against the Detroit Lions. I mean, the Detroit Lions have had a bad defense all year. But I'm just saying, like, maybe that's why they were so quick to get rid of Baker Mayfield, because maybe Sam Darnold is a guy. And I don't want to, like, get too deep into that topic right now on this podcast because I still need to see more from him. But maybe that's also part of the reason. Baker Mayfield, maybe he's just not as good as peak Sam Darnold either. And so, again, puts him in that Case Keenum to Colt McCoy level. That's where I see him. That's kind of my opinion on it. I talked for a little bit too long there. I rambled on the ramble a little too long. But
got a ramble on the ramble, baby.
But that's just kind of where I see Baker in that light. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think you're 100% spot on. I would agree with you. I don't think there's a single thing you've said I would agree with, to be honest with you. Wouldn't agree.
You would agree with it?
I was like, wait a minute.
I was like, oh man, we gotta. So moving on, I think we covered that game pretty efficiently. What's going on Denver? What's going on with LA? I hate to say it, guys. Max Kellerman about 5 years too early, but I think we've seen the cliff, and the cliff is rough. Tom Brady. Iguodala.
Oh,
Martian
God.
Death ship pointed at Earth.
That broke my ears.
Throw. Who do you want?
I want Iguodala.
Brady's
Brady,
dead.
I think Brady's done, guys. I think this is last season we see Brady. I hate it because of everything that happened in the offseason. And he is the greatest quarterback of all time. And even though I hate to admit it, it pains me to admit it. At this point, he is the greatest quarterback of all time, and I doubt anybody else would be able to pass him. I mean, what he's done in this league is incredible, but he's just not the same quarterback. Father Time even catches the best of him. Caught Michael Jordan. It caught Floyd Mayweather. It caught Muhammad Ali.
Tiger Woods.
Caught Tiger Woods. And we thought Tom Brady. We thought Tom Brady would be able to avoid it, just how impressive he's been even into his mid-40s. And this year, he just doesn't have it anymore. I just don't think he's a guy. He's not it.
What do you say about the speculation about him going back to New England next year?
I don't think he should. He needs to just let it go. He does not need to act like LeBron and go ring chasing again. He needs to just won.
Let's clear this up first of all. If you're ring chasing, you're not going back to New England.
Not right now.
Sure.
God,
no. There's a lot of talk that he'd go back to 49er. He'd go out to San Francisco.
Yep.
But I think they found a guy in Brock Purdy that they're going to stick with. But we'll get to that. But I'm just saying, I don't think Tom goes back to New England. I'm with Joe on that.
No, I don't think he should. I think he needs to retire while he has at least some dignity left. We don't want to see Tom Brady benched for someone like Baker Mayfield, really.
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy. That would be the worst thing that could happen to Tom Brady. The legendary Tom Brady. All these Super Bowl rings, all these stats, getting benched for a rookie or a second-year quarterback in the NFL. That would be
happened to Eli, and felt kind of
Eli
bad
didn't deserve that.
Yeah,
and you felt bad for Eli when that happened.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't think
he does not have 7 rings.
Let's be honest. One of his best receivers, Mike Evans, he's had in a long time. He couldn't even hit a target on him. Yeah. He threw 2 interceptions trying to get to Mike Evans.
He was my fantasy wide receiver who was supposed to save me.
Don't worry, I had Mike Evans touchdown score on a parlay.
But yeah, it's just we're seeing what I would call Brett Favre 2.0. A guy who's just not ready to give it up, and he just doesn't have it anymore. He just doesn't have the juice. His arm isn't there anymore.
Let's just hope he doesn't go to Mississippi, right?
Oh Lord!
What's going on with the Cardinals, though? Let's be honest. What's going to happen with the Cardinals next year?
Like I ain't even trying.
Oh my God!
Just a kid from Briarwoods. He's wearing number 9.
What's going on with the Cardinals, boys?
I don't know, man. I think Cliff Kingsbury might be out of a job. Yeah, he falls apart in the second half of seasons. People figure him out, and it's just downhill.
Is Kyler Murray a guy there?
He wasn't even good in the first half of this year.
No. That team never meshed at all this year.
Modern Warfare 2 did come out though, so we know what happens there.
No. I don't even blame that. I blame Cliff.
Yeah.
I don't think he's I mean, we saw Kyler Murray cussing him out on the sideline, telling him to calm down. When you're starting quarterback has to tell your head coach to calm down, it's not a good look. It's not a good look at all.
So does K1 leave?
No, they're too invested in him. They've already paid him. He already got his money.
Do they trade him?
So did Kingsbury.
Kingsbury's gone. You keep your franchise quarterback. When Kyler is on the field, he's electric. He's dynamic.
He's been hurt.
He really has. He's a smaller guy, so it's kind of like risk reward. Do you want to risk keeping this guy who will probably get hurt at least once, miss at least 2 games this season? Wow. Pause. But K1, I think he's a guy. I think he's great, very dynamic, electric, but it's almost like a Jimmy G situation. He's made of glass. He's going to miss games. He's not going to be healthy the entire season. But, man, is he good when he's out there. He's better than Jimmy G is, too.
Yeah.
Guy's unbelievable.
Backup was Colt McCoy, right?
Yeah.
What about K1 to the Seahawks?
No. I don't know if I would get rid of Geno. I'm just saying, Derek Carr's going to be free on the market. He's moving, and he's going somewhere like Miami, Seattle.
Could end up in Washington.
I don't think he's dynamic enough for Seattle.
Speaking of Washington, how about Brock Purdy?
Shut up.
Is he first for offensive rookie of the year now?
Yes, there's no question. I want to see. I love
Olave,
Dennis's face.
Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. Has Brock Purdy made his way into the offensive rookie of the year?
They played the Washington Commanders. All right, let's calm down. All right, They're not that good.
They haven't been that bad this year either.
Okay, but Heineke got benched. We don't need to take a tangent off. We're supposed to focus on these 3 games. But Heineke got benched. I'm crying over here. It's not a good time over here, all right?
Well, all I know is that we'll get back. I don't know. Tom Brady, I just hope that he doesn't do the whole Brett Favre thing and we see him go to like 6 different franchises, try to revive his career at all these different places. He's just not the same. Kyler Murray, I think Arizona holds on to him because he's pretty much the only bright spot this year for Arizona. I don't know, man. That's rough. That's a rough situation. I think Kingsbury loses his job this offseason. There's going to be a lot of coach turnover, I think, this offseason.
Now, but the problem is the Bucs are still in the talk for the playoffs.
Did the Panthers not take over first in their division?
They might be, but they're still not like out of it. No, they're not. Because the Bucs won, right?
Oh, right.
In overtime, when they shouldn't have won that game. But when you have Tom Brady in an overtime situation against who's starting for Arizona?
Trace McSorley.
Tom Brady against Trace McSorley. Who's gonna win in overtime? Let's be honest. Tom Brady. Tom Brady's gonna go to the playoffs. This is a hot take. Everyone's seen it. Not even a hot take. But he's going to go to the playoffs and play someone like Geno Smith or Daniel Jones in the first round of the playoffs. And it's going to be Tom Brady.
Everybody's seen that TikTok video?
Yeah, everyone's seen that TikTok. Where
it was Nick Wright. It was Nick Wright's take.
Yeah. It's 100% right. And it's scary that it might actually play out.
Yeah. Although the 40
are too good for Brady to beat them.
Yeah. The Eagles and the 49ers are both elite teams. I think there may be 1-2. And then Kansas City 3 or Cincinnati 3. I don't know. Cincinnati 3. I don't know. 49ers look good, man. The 49ers look good.
The Bills look good.
Bills do look
I think it's going to be a very good playoff. Whatever Super Bowl we get, I think it's going to be a great Super Bowl this year.
I don't want to see the 49ers or the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
I wouldn't mind seeing Brock Purdy. So, but all right. Well, I think that's all we got for this one. I think we're gonna hit a few more of these topics, talk about some more of the games on Thursday. We have the college football playoff and the Tennessee Clemson game. That's going to be a great one coming up this weekend. We might splash on those as well, just talk about them a little more. Thank you guys for checking in. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn that notification bell on, and have a great night. Thank you guys for checking in.